Hi there, this is Stuart, Constable, and I just wanted to do a quick video on, for instance, our leadership kit, one of the resources that you may be interested in purchasing. What is the leadership kit? Well, we've called it Leadership at School and Beyond, and we have a high school version as well as a primary school version, and what this kit consists of are 7 complete lessons that any teacher within your school can pick up and utilise in class, on school retreats, on in-service days, whenever you wish to use it for your students, so that you can increase the leadership skills and knowledge and capability of your students, whether they are transitioning into that most senior level of the school, such as, for instance, grade 5 to grade 6 in a primary school, or perhaps moving into grades 10, 11 or 12 in a high school setting. And each of these lessons each of them are self-contained, which means that they contain all of the materials, all of the resources you need. So you can deliver it as a standalone lesson of duration of about an hour, or alternatively, you can run the full suite of 7 lessons and extend that over a term or a semester. We've had even schools utilise this program over an entire year and just pulled out these programs and resources and activities throughout the year as they needed to introduce to the children and to their students some of these skills of leadership. I just wanted to let you know some of the areas that we are covering in this particular kit. And out of the 7 lessons in the high school version, we have defining leadership and what it means for the student leader. Now what we have here is 16, 17 pages of scripts, activities, handouts, PowerPoint slides that you can take your students through in order for them to develop an understanding of what leadership actually is, and just as importantly, what leadership isn't, because that's an important lesson for the students to understand as well. Program 2, or Lesson 2, is identifying the behaviours and characteristics of leaders. We've looked at what leadership is, but also what are the things that leaders do to enable them to act as leaders within a school setting, or in an organisational setting, in a political setting, in a religious setting. It doesn't matter what the setting is. What is important are being able to identify what the characteristics and behaviours are of effective leaders. Program 3 is a very powerful one as well, because it's developing the leader's role within the school. What is it that these students are required to do? So many times students are voted or selected to become a leader, but there's no real clarity around what's expected of them. And this lesson actually takes them through defining what their role will be, and more or less develops a job description for themselves, which is very exciting for the students, so that they actually have an input as to what they want to be seen doing, what they're going to be responsible for, what even they're going to be accountable for as student leaders, which is an important aspect of leadership, is that responsibility and level of accountability. Program 4, or Lesson 4, is applying leadership beyond school. So we're wanting also at the same time to extend the students' thinking that it's not just within the 4 walls of your school that leadership exists, but also in the wider community, in sporting context, business, in employment situations, also in religious and social settings. There's leadership required all over the world in all types of settings, and it's important for students to be able to identify that and how they can apply their leadership skills that they're learning here today into those settings when they leave school, or whilst they're experiencing school, so after hours or on weekends and things like that. Program 5 is about managing friendships, peers and leadership, because one of the biggest challenges we find student leaders have is doing their work as a leader, but sometimes that creates the friction or the challenge or the conflict between themselves and executing their role effectively as a leader, but also at the same time for them to make difficult decisions or speak to people who are their friends or their peers, particularly when they're just one of the group and suddenly they've been elected or selected into this role of leadership. Well, there are some challenges around that, and it's important to upskill those students in how to manage those situations. And that lesson in Program 5 actually guides them through that process. Program 6 is extremely important, because often the role of leaders is on top, well, of course it's always on top of their regular work, and your students have their homework and they have lessons to participate in, and they have other extracurricular interests as well, and how do they manage all of that? And some valuable critical skills around time management, priority management is dealt with in Program 6 about managing both academic success and leadership. And Program 7, I think, it really brings it all together so effectively for your students, because it's about becoming a visionary leader. And that is one of the hallmarks of leadership, is having that vision, thinking bigger than the here and now, looking at longer term issues, looking at longer term opportunities as a leader, and defining what the future looks like. And this is what we're wanting your students to do, is to look forward into the year and think, well, what do they want to be known for? What do they want to have accomplished or achieved by the end of their year as leaders? And it's more or less like them defining what legacy they're going to leave. What do they want to be known for? What reputation do they want to have left the school with as a leadership group? And I think that is extremely powerful, and often a lesson that students never experience as leaders. And in fact, not many leaders in business often think that way as well. And so it's important for students to start thinking that way, thinking bigger picture, and look longer term in their role as leaders. So these lessons, there's 7 of them in total, and what we have are not only the lessons, but they're fully scripted, so anyone can pick this up and start running with it. All the questions, the answers are there. The activities are also included in this kit. We also have included in that the PowerPoint slides. We've got some handouts there on inspirational leadership quotes. We've got a leadership case study, which I think is just tremendous. It's several pages looking at a current issue within leadership right now in this country, and it really encourages the students to look for that. And that's in the high school program, not so much in the primary school program, but very, very relevant for students to experience and read through this case study and answer the questions associated with it. So it's entirely there. Like I said, it's available for a very limited time at prices that will never be repeated, because we're wanting to clear it out, because at the moment it has our old logo, and we're shifting to our new logo from July 1. So look forward to receiving your order on the leadership kit, or indeed all of the resources we have available.